Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to School of Science. My name is Luke and I'm wearing glasses. Okay, so today, obviously you probably even read the title down below, which I haven't even thought of yet, but as you can see down by the title below, we're going to be talking about Liverpool City Council's, to put it nicely, rather laughable excuse of a parking scheme in a way, or what they called a football match parking zone. So, their reasoning around this is essentially they want to try and reduce congestion around this area pre-match and post-match, and they're trying to do like like a parking zone that operates around Goodison and Anfield and everything like that. But the way they've done it, they've stretched it so far outside of the reach of stupidity that it's beyond all belief. So your parking zone, now bear in mind I will actually have these either sides because I'm also going to talk about Sandhills and their absolute fuck up. So these things are going to be either side, so you can actually be able to have a look at this alongside me. Also, they've put it on Twitter, or X as they put it now, so it's on there as well, and people obviously have ran them through the coals in this one. So I'm just giving you my opinions on this, as someone who looks after a person who comes to the match with me, my granddad. He's 85 years old. He's severely restricted in terms of mobility. And what they're doing here is absolutely abhorrent, in my personal opinion. So what they've done is they put a boundary line around the stadium. Now, bear in mind, the placement of the stadium, I love where the stadium's placed, but it was always going to be a double-edged sword. Just for the fact that you've got a very scenic area, it's on the waterfront, and it's a brilliant area in a commercial sense. However, parking and everything around this is going to be absolutely terrible. It was always going to be an issue. Now, bear in mind, you look around like the likes of Dock Road and everything, or I should say Regent Road. So going down that entirety of Regent Road, there is land plots there, and people have bought them up with the intent of making them into matchday parking. So the fact that the council have went and done this is absolutely disgusting. Now, they've gone on pretty much trying to promote it as a way to, how can I put this in the nicest way possible? For us to rely on the public transport system. Now, quite frankly, I can already see where they're going with this sort of rubbish. So how they want to put it. Now, you could say that I'm putting a tinfoil hat on for this one. I don't really care. So from what I can see, from my perspective and everything, they're doing this so that more people rely on the public transport. So the likes of buses, shuttles, using the public taxis, the taxis, using trains, doing all that sort of stuff. Trying to rely more on the public transport to get to and from the stadium. The only problem with this is, let's say for argument's sake, you've got a bus route that's committed to going from the city centre or going from somewhere, say Great Ormond Street area, city centre, or even up the upper sides of, Bootle, Crosby, somewhere around there, and getting them to and from the match. They are going to be able to charge people an absolute arm and a leg. So a taxi, let's say for argument's sake, you get a taxi from, the Baltic Fleet. Let's say you get a taxi from Baltic Fleet all the way up to the Everton Stadium. For you to do that, you will pay through the nose for that. They will charge you probably close to double what their standard rate is because you're going into an area that's restricted by the council. That's how they're going to put it anyway. Likewise with the buses. So buses at the moment, I think they're like £2 or £2.20 at the moment for a singular thing. And again, trains. Now, trains in terms of their reliability. When we're not having strikes, now let's be honest here, how often do you hear about the trains going on strike because the train drivers or something to do with the train system, they aren't happy with it? And how often do you hear about the trains getting stopped? It's gotten to the point now where it's basically a meme. I kid you not, it is basically a meme at this point. I've seen so many videos and everything talking about, it's a cold day. Looks like the trains aren't going to be working. I've seen that one. There's a video where a guy's trying to jump off a bridge. He's waiting for a train and he's going to jump off and get hit by the train. Obviously dark humour, but hey, we all have a bit of a dark side. And he literally gets stopped by a member of staff saying, no, don't do that. And he goes, why not? I want to end it all, blah, 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 blah. He goes, no, the trains aren't running today. There is, however, a bus service. I mean, we quite literally have jokes about this sort of crap. And before I even go on, talking about Sandhills and that absolute mess that they think is gonna be able to contain tens of thousands of football fans. Now, bear in mind, football fans are they're really emotional bunch. When you start restricting them and trying to pen them in, it goes bad. But before I even talk about that, as I was saying, I take my granddad to the game very often. We go to the game quite a lot. And his physical mobility is just almost non-existent. To get him from the house to the car takes him a monumentous amount of effort. I go into Goodison Park now, I have to get him into his wheelchair. I have to wheel him into the stadium. And then I help him up the stairs to get him to a seat. From this now, even in the wheelchair, I can hear him struggling sometimes. So let's say, for argument's sake, I have to take public transport. I have to say get the train. So I pick my granddad up from Walton. I maybe take him to my place in Bootle, and then we get the train down to Sandhills. With the likes of this sort of system that's in place right now, this shouldn't be the case. I should be able to, say, park in one of the off streets by the stadium. I get him out the car, get him in his wheelchair, get him to the stadium, where the stadium boasts accessibility as one of its main features. Now, basically Everton have done everything they can to make accessibility the most important thing inside that stadium. So you, no matter what your physical ability or your mobility skills are, you can sit pretty much wherever you want apart from the lower south stands, because they only want adults, just normal adults in there, so 21 to 63-year-olds. They don't want kids, don't want teens, they just want the adults in there, in the safe standing area. So me and my granddad, we're going to be on the upper south stand. And I know for a fact that with this system in place, it has just made us getting to the stadium 10 times harder. Because we're going to have to rely on public transport to get them in and out of that stadium. Well, get them to and from the stadium, should I say. And I think I may have to contact Everton as well about this prior, just for the fact that it's not going to happen, in all honesty. We're going to find some way to get him to the stadium and get him as comfortable as possible. And the way that they've put this out is to make sure that anyone with any form of like physical disability or people who just struggle to move in general, and they don't even call it a disability. So let's say, for argument's sake, someone in the 60s, to get them walking, let's say for argument's sake they park outside of that area, where the areas that you've got all there in place, for them to go from one of them areas outside into the city. Now, this is the one that made me laugh as well. Liverpool City Council have been replying to comments on here. So a lot of people have been basically saying that what they've put in place is absolutely abhorrent. I mean, there's one here, Mr. Dickinson. Although born in Everton district and I live in North Yorkshire and drive to every home game, I flag parking during Bramley-Moore Dock fan consultations. What are you doing to provide legitimate parking within, say, 15 minutes walk from the ground? What are the responses? Hi, Steve. There's plenty of car parks in the city centre. As a guide, the Liver Buildings is about a 20-minute walk to the stadium. Cool. So, hypothetical. How many parking spaces are there by the Royal Liver Buildings? Because I've driven past there a few times and I don't even think there's more than 100 spaces in the Liver Building car park itself. So you're going to have to use the car parks dotted around that area. And I know that there is quite a few car parks around there. There's the NCP building on the Strand. I know down by King's Dock, or Monarch's Quay, should I say. There's a massive multi-storey complex there. And then there's other ones just dotted all over the show. Now, bear in mind, on match days, I've got a feeling they will inflate their prices, or they'll just inflate their prices just overall. So you are going to be paying through the nose to park around there. And again, as I said, if it's someone with an issue with their mobility, so let's say if they need a cane or they're on crutches, but they can still use their car and they want to use their car. So you're telling them, okay, park by the Leather Building and walk down. That's not going to happen. Bear in mind, I believe that's like I've walked it myself, and don't get me wrong, it's not a difficult walk for myself, but I'm a physically able-bodied person. I'm a very fit, in shape person. But someone who's in a wheelchair, who's on crutches, who has to use a cane to get about, they're going to struggle. And with the current cost of living issues, do you really think they're going to be able to afford both a match ticket and some inflated cab price to get from the Live Building to the stadium, or get from their house to the stadium? I don't think so. Now, I've said all I've had to say about the whole crap about what Liverpool City Council put into place. Quite frankly, I think they should be absolutely ashamed of themselves, because I think this is nothing short of a very poorly thought out money grab. And if someone says to me, oh, why is it a money grab? Take into account, these payments are going to cost money to make. There's going to be an admin fee. I don't know if there is an admin fee that's already been mentioned, but normally these things are anywhere between £25 to £50. And not only that, you've got a heap of businesses running down Regent Road. You've got the likes of Whiskey. I forgot the name of the whiskey place. You've also got the Bramley-Moore pub. You've got bars and restaurants sprawled all the way down Regent Road. And this is meant to be something that the Peel Group are meant to be developing. So they want to make a lot of really nice bars, restaurants, hotels and everything with some of these docks. And you've just made that a whole lot more difficult. Actually, I'm just looking at the perimeter thing. You could actually park by the Isle of Man ferry terminal. You could actually be cheeky on that one, because the way the perimeter is set out, the Isle of Man ferry terminal where Central Quay is, that doesn't fall under jurisdiction. So that could be one that if you wanted to be cheeky about it, you could probably park there. But bear in mind, you've still got one hell of a walk if you are not physically able-bodied. Right. So as I said, it's a cheeky little cash grab that they've done that's really poorly thought out, because all the way down Regent Road, from the very top of the dock roads, or Regent Road, all the way down to the bottom, there's empty land plots that have been taken up that are going to be used, that we're hoping to use as parking spaces. Now, if you're paying a £5, 10 or even 15 quid to park your car there, it's great, because it's a much shorter walk than doing Sandhills, Bank Hill, sorry. I don't know why I said Speak Hall. Bank Hill, or anywhere around there. Going from there down to the stadium, walking that is going to be an absolute killer. But I've already got cogs spinning in my head on how I'm going to work around this. And I'm going to take care of that myself. I'm not going to put it out here, because if I do that, there's probably a good chance that it's going to blow up in my face. So yeah, now going over to Sandhills. Sandhills at the moment, I'm looking at the photos that they put in place, and they've created what they said was a fan zone, I think. If I can find the image. Because I did actually see a thing on X, and they were going on about it being a fan zone. My personal opinion, that's absolute loads of dross. The way they've got it put in place right now, that's just... it's a poorly thought out cattle grid, essentially. They're going to try and hold everyone in place there. Nah, that's not going to work, in my personal opinion. Nope. I should have thought this one out better, shouldn't I? Here we are. Parking zone. So basically what you're saying is there will be absolutely nowhere for fans to park at all. Out of interest, what are your plans then to fathom the influx of fans? That's actually a good point there. So an extra 26,000 fans, which does compound the parking issues. You're not wrong on that one. But they're going on about only being a 30-minute walk to the stadium. That's absolutely a load of rubbish. For a fit and physically able-bodied person, yeah, sure, maybe. But not for quite a few of the fans. There is a good chunk of fans who have got disability issues. So for them to say, oh yeah, that's no problem for most of the fans, I'm sorry, but that's wrong. I'm trying to find the one for Sandhills. Sandhills. I should have had this all planned out, shouldn't I? Nope. That's the timetable. News. Here we go. Right. So, now I'm reading this off the Echo, bear in mind. A number of Everton fans have been left less than impressed by the plans highlighted by Liverpool City Region Mayor Steve Rotherham for a fan zone at Sandhills Station to serve the club's new grounds. He posted a video on his social media channels on Thursday in which he visited the new facilities placed at the train station aimed at helping fans travel to the new £500 million arena. Bear in mind it's actually 700 million, so that's wrong, which will be in use for the Blues from the start of next season. These include a large number of metal fences erected in the car park of the train station. That's the car park. Oh crap, it is actually the car park. No, that's bad. That's very bad. To manage crowds exiting the train station heading to the stadium. Yeah. If you're going to try and do that so that people have to walk through there, now bear in mind, these are flimsy ass fences. You're going to have to basically get these made into concrete. They're going to have to make pylons, essentially. If you want to try and contain fans, they will kick them down. Most of the fans will quite literally just say, fuck this. And they will take every single one of them, get them thrown out the way and just go out. So that's a fail from the start. Right then. He adds, we're investing in the fan zone to ensure a smooth and reliable matchday experience for fans. By doing this, we are prioritising fan safety whilst making sure travel is quick and reliable. But it is safe to say that the video has not gone down well with everyone, with hundreds of frustrated fans responding. Seen so far on X, Steve Jones said, I can't believe they rolled the mayor out to take a look at a piece of tarmac and some temporary barriers and called it a fan zone. Yeah, no, this is definitely not a fan zone. This is essentially, it looks like a poorly made factory farm. Not even covered embarrassing. And the Grand Old Team Everton fan account said, how many years have they had? And that is your answer. Pathetic. Jez Klein with similarly withering statement. Embarrassing 4 years, and that's the great idea for transporting 53,000 people to and from Bramley-Moore. Well, here's another one. Billy added, well in lads. You've had years to come up with a few metal barriers outside the station. Well done. The powers that be in this city. The years of meetings that must have taken to brainstorm this. No, I mean, they're not wrong. They really aren't wrong. The fans are not wrong. What they've done there is absolutely stupid. If this temporary fencing is going to be in place when the season kicks off, I mean, even the third test event, what they've put in place here is absolutely ridiculous. The third test event, if these are in place like this with the temporary little fences, they will get shoved to the side. I promise you this. Most of the fans will just look at this and go, what the fuck is this? And they will push them all to the side and just go on their merry way out. And you're not going to be able to stop them. No matter how many crowd control or police you put in place, you will not stop 35,000 pissed off football fans. I promise you that. And quite frankly, I would not blame them in the slightest. This is the most poorly thought out system that they've put into place. Liverpool City Council should be absolutely embarrassed with themselves. Trying to control the traffic by doing this is just absolutely stupid. I mean, Goodson Park, that's close to 40,000 fans. We're going up to 58,000. So an extra 18,000, let's say, as a hypothetical. So you're talking an extra 18,000 fans coming into the stadium. Now, bear in mind, you've got a heap of side streets there. if you were to let people park along there, you would not have very much of an issue. Now, bear in mind, you would need traffic control, definitely. But you need to give these people a little bit of freedom to be able to park. Because as I said, a lot of the people who park around here, these are people who are either not great when it comes to mobility, or they've got someone with them who isn't great with mobility. This is something I'm going to beat into everyone's skulls to the ends of the earth. The reason a lot of people park close to the ground is because we have issues with mobility. Now, like I said, I'm not one of these people, but my granddad is, and I take him to the game on a very regular occasion. So for him, now, we have a plan in place where we're going to be able to try and get as close as we can to the stadium, and I try and make everything as comfortable as possible. I'm just dreading to think when we have a game when it's really windy, really rainy, and it's freezing, because there are people who are going to be drenched to the very bare bones. They're going to be drenched to the skin going into that stadium. And bear in mind, no matter how good a stadium is, you're sitting in the elements and you are going to freeze. So I hope they look at this and reevaluate it seriously, because it's an 18-month testing system. They're going to test it for 18 months, and I can promise you, it's going to be received extremely poorly. But in any case, guys, this is an absolute downer one, isn't it? Also, I will be doing a post-match for the Bournemouth game. It's going to be you know what? Actually, we're not going to talk about the Bournemouth game. We'll talk about it here. Shit game. That's all I'm going to say. First half was absolute shit. Second half was a lot better. Tarkowski, I think he must have taken some sleeping tablets before he started the game, because he just looked like he was in a walking coma. Alcaraz, great to see him get on the pitch, and he actually came close to scoring. The woodwork is now our new arch enemy, and Bournemouth played well. They played well, very good. They played the basics really well. But overall, let's focus on the Premier League. But in any case, guys, thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Up the fucking toffees, and peace.